Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Seesaw, which is an app based platform that can be a digital tool used in the classroom. Seesaw is an app based platform that promotes student engagement. It targets grades K through 5. I started to hear about it during the pandemic. My school district adopted the use of Seesaw for K2 during that time, and I found that it really streamlined accessibility to students at home. At the time, I was teaching third grade, and we were using a different platform called Nearpod. And once I switched to second grade a year after that, I realized how much better Seesaw was for student engagement technologically and digitally, especially as we were in hybrid learning and they weren't in person in the classroom yet. So with Seesaw, students can create, reflect, share, and collaborate. A lot of the features on Seesaw, which I will explain later into the presentation, allow for different types of composition, allow for students to reflect and share with their peers. Work is also shared with the teacher, peers, and families. During the pandemic, Seesaw was used as a way to communicate with families and allow students to complete activities in their homes and post videos or pictures of them doing so. It uses multimodal tools like photos, videos, drawings, text, links, shapes, and much more. And it's kind of used as a show what you know platform. So students are able to use any of the digital um, tools to show what they know and reflect their learning in creative ways. They're not limited to one mode. I'm going to go through some features of Seesaw. So this is a post to student journal. And on the homepage of Seesaw, the student journal is where we can see students' different posts, and students have access to their peers if permitted by the teacher. So they can choose to post a photo, drawing, video, they can upload a PDF or a different file, they can write a note, they can link to something to share. They have a choice, and that can be done in response to an assignment, or sometimes they would just post things to communicate with their peers, especially during hybrid learning. And then here I included a photo of the student view to work on an assignment. So teachers have the ability to post different assignments for students to work on, and this is what it would look like. So students can choose to type text on the side. There's a T, there's a microphone option, so they can submit a recording. There's a photo option. They can submit a photograph or put in a picture, and then the dots, if you were to click on those, had options to put in different shapes and other tools. The view instructions panel at the top allows them to easily go back to the instructions in case they've forgotten. And then the tools at the bottom range from a pencil, a marker, a highlighter, an eraser, and they can choose different colors. So students like this a lot because they're able to use the pens, or they can type, or if they're not comfortable typing, they can record. It offers a lot of multimodal options for students to respond to an assignment. And then another photo I wanted to include was the teacher view. So I had to black out, this was for my account, so I had to black out my students' names, which is why you see those black lines. But this would be the teacher view. So while students are working on an assignment, you're able to actually in real time see what they're working on. If it was live right now, I would be able to click on a panel and look at what the students are working on. So it makes it very easy for a teacher to support students, because even if you're in a different area in the classroom and they need help or they need something, you are always able to access what they're working on, which I think is really cool. And then another interesting thing is if they submit an assignment, you can send it back to them. So a lot of times what would happen is students would send an assignment and I would check in with them and see that they got confused with the instructions or something, or they needed to go back to it. So I can send back the assignment and they're able to edit it again. So in my district, Seesaw is used only for K2, but I find that it would be really beneficial to be used for K5, even in the middle school grades. There's a lot of ways for students to interact with Seesaw. It integrates different types of tools into one platform, so it supports multimodal composition. I included a quote here from the Shelby Caffey et al. Article. 21st century literacy means being well versed in multiple forms of media. So students should have opportunities to read and create multimodal text, and I think Seesaw provides this in one platform. It also has interactive and engaging activities. There's a lot of supplemental activities that can be provided to students. I use Seesaw a lot as an early finisher option too, because they really enjoy going on the computers and creating through Seesaw. It also provides them opportunities to interact with their peers, like blogging through the student journal. There's video and photo options, which I really like to support writing development, early literacy. For students who are learning to write, this is a good option so they can still engage and develop literacy skills. And I think this is a good way to introduce digital composition, especially to young students, because it's all on one platform. So I know it's very important to introduce them to a variety of digital tools, but at a young age, I think that could be somewhat overwhelming. So I think Seesaw is a good way to make a path for more digital tools in the future. What's cool about Seesaw is that it has a standards aligned curriculum, and teachers can search an abundance of activities per grade level aligned with the standards. So there's resource libraries for teachers. You can make your own activity, or you can look through the Seesaw library, which has Seesaw created activities. And then in the following slide, I'm going to show you activities that you can search for in the community. On the left is an image of the community library where you can search by grade level different activities, even if you simply type writing or reading. And then a bunch of creators and teachers create activities and share them with the whole Seesaw community. So on the right is an example of some activities that are there. There's a lot more. It's just a small screenshot. So if I search writing, this is what came up for first grade. And you can choose a variety. You can also really refine your search and be very specific and find things to look for. And I think the community aspect of Seesaw is truly amazing because you don't have to always reinvent the wheel. I connected Seesaw with NJSLA Writing Standard for Grade 1, W.1.6, with guidance and support from adults. Use a variety of digital tools to produce and publish writing, including in collaboration with peers. Seesaw is definitely aligned with the standard because it supports students to use a variety of digital tools to produce and publish different forms of writing. And although they're not offered opportunities to collaborate with peers in real time, like on G Suite, they're still collaborating by sharing their work with each other. And then I also connected it to the Dahlstrom reading from this module, which found that the use of digital tools and initiatives improved student agency because students were engaged in reaching literacy goals. Scaffolding the use of digital tools is important, and I think that's really easy to do with Seesaw because they offer a variety of opportunities, and you can kind of take your time to teach students one tool at a time. 42% of students were found to use digital tools more frequently, so this also ties into the quote, knowledge is now being created everywhere by everyone. So not allowing digital tools can be seen as a limitation to student agency because they're exposed to it in their daily lives constantly. And this is a big part of student agency. Seesaw is also connected to the ideas presented by McKee and Waddle that digital composition is evolving, so teachers need access to ideas and resources to improve students' digital literacies, and it's important to connect the past and present tools to transform how they express ideas and learn. So we don't need to ignore all the past digital tools, but we need to find a way to integrate them into the newer technologies, and I think Seesaw does a great job of integrating digital tools to make digital composition not only accessible for young students, but easy to integrate, and it's easy for teachers to learn alongside students. And I think overall it paves the way for more digital tool learning. So it sets a foundation for all the digital tools that students are going to be exposed to in the later grades. Thank you for listening to my presentation on Seesaw.